I've spent a lot of time the last several weeks talking about the economy and what the real estate market means for buyers. You know who's being left out are the sellers, right? So what does this economy and the change in inflation and mortgage rates, how does that affect sellers? That's what I'm talking about today. Stick around. Hi, welcome back. My name is Joe Brown. I'm a realtor with Century 21 List with Beggins, located in South Tampa. Thank you so much for being here with me today. As I mentioned in the intro, I really have spent a lot of time talking about the economy and inflation and possible recession and what it means for buyers. And I've asked my broker, I've asked other agents, what does that mean for sellers? And so I wanted to share with you a couple thoughts that I've gathered and a couple thoughts that I have. One thing we have seen, so let me just back up and tell you, one, people are still buying homes, right? Even though interest rates are, last week they were at 5.72. I think they may drop a little bit this week, but 5.72, they are still very low compared to his history, going back to the 1970s. So even at 5.72, mortgage rates are low. But even if they go up 6% or even 7%, people are going to buy homes. So if you're in a position to sell your home, just know there are people who are going to buy your home. Recently, our brokerage put a post out that said, you marry the house, you date the mortgage. Meaning, if you like the house, buy the house, and then if interest rates, mortgage rates drop, you can refinance at that time. So people are going to buy your house if you decide to list it. However, it has to be priced appropriately. So within the last year, we have seen multiple offer situations. I've shared on these videos how homes were getting $50,000, $90,000 over asking price. Now, keep in mind, the lending rules didn't change, right? Lenders still had their appraisal, but people were paying over the appraisal. That means they had that much cash on hand to pay over. Some of that is going to change. You're not going to see these frenzy of activity and overpaying. You will see homes on the market for longer, right? We have seen already there has been a slowdown. Now, it could be time of year because we're middle of June. People could be on vacation. But we have seen a slowdown in activity. People are afraid. Practically, people are afraid of inflation and what that means. And so I want to share with you, what we're going to see is not so much home prices dropping. The economist from National Association of Realtors even says home prices are going to continue to go up, and even next year he projects them to go up another 4 to 5% next year. So listen, if you're a buyer and you say, oh, I want to wait till prices stabilize, that means you're going to pay 4 or 5% higher next year than you are now. That's just an aside. But what we need to see and what we're going to see is an affordability adjustment. That's a great phrase, and I can't take credit for it. Good friend of mine, Joe Diener, came up with that phrase, an affordability adjustment. What do I mean by that? I want to share this graph with you that demonstrates the affordability adjustment. So imagine a couple can afford $2,400 a month for mortgage and interest. $2,400 a month. Well, back in December, when interest rates were 3.2, 3.5, you can see here they were able to afford a house at $523,000 or $534,000, right? Well, as interest rates go up, look at the very bottom. We're getting close to 6%. We're not at 6% now. But you see, now they can only afford $400,000 for that same $2,400 a month payment. So that means in 6 months' time, a couple has lost $134,000 of buying power. So the people who are pricing their homes, right? Think of a pyramid. The higher you price the home, the fewer buyers there are. So these interest rates have pushed more of the buyers down the pyramid. And so if the homes are still priced, if you want to say high, but at a higher price, the number of buyers is fewer. That means the home will sit on the market longer. So, and I don't want to call it greed because that has a negative connotation. I'll go back and I'll use my analogy people are tired of with my sunglasses. If I only have 5 pairs of sunglasses and I have 30 people wanting them, yeah, I'm going to sell them to the people that are going to give me the most money for the sunglasses. Well, now things are shifting, right? I still have 5 pairs of sunglasses. 30 people may be interested, but they're not going to pay more than $10, right? So I can say, hey, who's going to give me 15? Who's going to give me 20? There may not be anybody. Maybe somebody will pay me $10 for it, or maybe $7. So I have to adjust my price for what they're willing to pay, or in this case with mortgages, what they're able to afford. So we want to look at the affordability adjustments. So I think we're going to see homes that are on the market, and they've been on the market for a while now. We may see some of the prices adjusted to come down just to attract more buyers at that level. You're going to see homes sit on the market for a longer amount of time. You may even see homes expire, right? Which means they're on the market, never sells, and so they're off the market. We still won't see a lot of that, depending on the price and the condition. Second thing, let's talk about the affordability. I showed you the graph of, a couple with $2,400 with the different interest rates. Well, there are 2 things that really impact the interest rate that a couple gets. And number one is the credit score. So for a couple to get a really good rate, they need to have a credit score of about 740 or above, right? So you can get a loan with a credit score of 680, but you may be paying over 6% interest for that loan. A higher credit score, better interest rates. So if you are in a buying situation, right? So make sure you get that credit score. They're also going to look at the debt to income ratio, which is about 45%. And I'll throw this chart up there too, because I made it, I want to share it with you, right? So the credit score, debt to income limit impacts how much people can borrow and the rate that they borrow at. And then the rate they borrow at affects their affordability scale and what they can afford to pay for a house. So listen, if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, I said this at the very beginning, people are buying homes. So if you're looking to sell, yes, there are people to buy your house. If you're a seller and you say, oh, I want people to pay me $60,000 more than I'm asking, well, that ship may have sailed. Those people may not be around anymore. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I wouldn't count on it, right? So the big thing as a seller, make sure the house is priced appropriately. Understand that there is a balance between the price you're asking and how long it sits on the market, right? If you underprice a house that'll be gone quickly, overprice a house that'll sit on the market for a while and may never sell. So just some thoughts. If you're a seller, yes, people are still buying. Now is still a good time to sell because, as I said just a few minutes ago, interest rates, mortgage interest rates, are still at a historic low, going back to history, right? So we're still in a good place. People are still buying homes. Yes, the pace is slowing off, but that doesn't mean home prices are going to drop. Home prices are going to stabilize, which is good for the buyers. It's good for the economy. So I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please share it. Leave a comment below. If you think it's all hogwash, please leave that in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, right? Thank you so much for being here. I love sharing this information with you because South Tampa, Florida living is awesome.